When chili starts looking like the value menu, fast food's got a problem. We don't mind paying more. We get mad when we pay more for nothing. That's the take home message here. Hi, my name is Bud Ford. Bud like the beer, Ford like the truck. No matter where you check out podcasts, look for us. We're at Bud Ford Comedy. TikTok, you'll find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Click subscribe if you would. I was talking to a buddy of mine who retired from the police department after 30 years of service, a great guy, and he's almost exactly my age within a couple of months. And we were talking about what's going on in the fast food industry. And it's very interesting because now, why would we go to a fast food restaurant where we would have typically gone for many, many years? Why would we go there when the price of going to sit down at, let's say, Chili's or Applebee's, or now they're all in a price war, has gone down to the point, why do we even have fast food anymore? They've not been fast in forever. You certainly can't count on the order unless you're going to In-N-Out and or God's Chicken over at Chick-fil-A. Anything else? Why don't you just pull up to the drive-thru, and when they ask what you want to order, just respond with, I'll take whatever you want me to have. I plan to spend $12 tonight. Just give them a number and move on. Because whatever you say doesn't mean anything. It's sort of a guideline. I want a hamburger, no onions, keep the pickles, put some lettuce on it, and I also want to get some fries, and I want a shake, and a super duper chocolate for the kids, the happy thing. I want to take all that home. They're like, okay, great. When you get home, you got to make fish. And if you're lucky, you got fries and a toy for your kid. If not, you're going back. Just the way it is. It's just a guess as to what you get in the bag. That's why Subway took off like it did. Finally, we got a chance to figure out where were we getting taken advantage of. I know the footlong's not a footlong. We get it. We've known that since you started. You've been lying. We get it. 6 inches. It's sort of a guess. We get that too. But that's okay, because it's the first time really we got to see our food prepared, and we didn't just play the potluck game when we got home and wonder what we had in the box or in the bag, whatever they handed us. That's the game we play with fast food. However, now we can bounce over to Chili's, sit down, have ourselves a nice meal for about the same money as going to most fast food places. It's close. And the extra comes in the sit down and the time you get to spend talking with your person that you're with, or just the time you get to watch the TVs, or time you get to spend doing whatever it is you want to do. But it's better than sitting in your car eating. So it's kind of nice that the prices have fallen and kind of worked their way down like they have. I realized that Chili's was kind of in a rebuild and they were sort of grasping at straws. I get that. But that grasp has changed everything. It's changed everything. IHOP, everybody has bounced into that $6 to $12 to $15 menu, and that's okay with me. It's okay. Now, where I think it's very interesting, and that's what he and I were talking about, now you don't have there's no real reason to pick fast food. For me, I have a fast food hierarchy. I'm imagining you do too. I don't know what that is for you. For me, it's Chick-fil-A first, and then I'm looking for In-N-Out. Because I live in Arizona, there's an In-N-Out in most places. That's a blessing from the good Lord above. Now they got them in Tennessee. They're beginning to make that run into the East Coast. Good for you. The good thing about it is you just feel better when you go in there. If you're going to eat fast food, hand-cut potatoes makes me feel better than 100% beef fat or whatever I'm getting from somewhere else. So I feel good about going in there. We also have these Farmer Boys places here in town. I don't know if you have any of those, but I kind of enjoy going there. If I'm going to grab fast food, I'm not an aficionado of fast food. I don't spend much time in fast food restaurants. I boycotted them for 10 straight years. The only reason that I will go back in them is, like I said, I'm going to pick. It's either going to be Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out. That's pretty much it. We do have a place called the Taco Spot around here, and it's a new thing. And they've just kind of begun expanding, and so I like to support them. So I will go there. Their food doesn't seem like it takes forever, so I know that they're cooking it at the moment. I stopped going to the other fast food restaurants. It just became a cleanliness game with those cats. It was just awful. I'm not saying your food's bad. I'm just saying By and large, when I go into one of your restaurants, I'm waiting for the disgusting part when I have to leave. I was enjoying, made my breakfast order. I watched the lady right in front of me move the tater tots around with this device. She dropped it on the floor. She looked at me. She looked down on the floor. She picked it up and stuck it right back in the tater tots. I have to leave there. See, I have to. I can't know. I'm not saying it's not happening in other places, because it is. But I'm telling you, I can't let you look me in the face and tell me, yeah, you're not going to do anything about it in that tone, and then go right back? Are you crazy? Of course I'm not going to eat there again. I was in Panera Bread. I talked about that not too long ago. That place was disgusting. I'm being as honest as I can. It looks like what I expect their employees' houses to look like. It was a disaster by the way they allowed them to dress, by the way they allowed them to come in on that particular night at that particular restaurant. You couldn't ask customers to eat that. I expected to see bugs and rats coming out of the kitchen at any moment. Everything was in disarray. So I stopped going basically to restaurants if I don't trust them for cleanliness, and most of them I don't anymore. If you've noticed the fast food, they can't keep up. Like, they don't know what to do. They're certainly not going to win on quality. Now they want to win on value? Wait a minute. Hey, if I can get a full meal at Chili's for sub 20 per person, we'll call it sub 15. If I can get sub 15 per person and sit at Chili's or sit at Applebee's or sit at one of those restaurants, what are you going to do, because your number one combo is approaching $13? So you're already in a mess. And then you're like, would you like to medium size that? So now, I basically broke 100 just to get one Big Mac. And the price goes up, but the burger keeps getting smaller. I mean, what is that? That's not a burger. That's a burger bite. It's become a joke. And now they've even managed to screw up the sausage biscuits. How do you do that? That I felt safe about. I could go in, get what was pretending to be sausage, and then when I go through the drive-thru, I get the surprise, I eat it, the price wasn't too bad, and I move on. Now you've made a sausage biscuit cost what a Big Mac used to cost. I don't understand that. What changed? They were 99 cents I know the cost of labor, I get it, but the point is, we've got a pricing problem. Your business model has now taken a hit because someone else changed the market and the playing field. Your answer, fast food, has been, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to automate this. McDonald's been trying this forever. We're just going to put these big white boards out here. Now, we're not going to teach people how to use them. We're just going to have them come hit things until something pops out. They just pay, and then they don't know what they got. They don't know what they ordered, and then we have to go undo it all. But I got a quarter pounder, and I ordered a Big Mac. No, you hit quarter pounder. I ordered a Big Mac. So now you give me a Big Mac and I got to pay the difference. See what I mean? So you're doubling up your own workload, but that's cool. You save the money and not having that employee talking to the people at the register. That didn't work. Because here's the problem. People over the age of 35 don't want to do that. I don't want to order on the app. I don't want the cold food that comes from ordering on the app. See, you already broke that. You broke the promise with me. When I ordered on the app and did what you told me to do, when I got the food home, it had been sitting there forever. It was cold. You can't reheat that disgusting trash, so I can't eat at your restaurant anymore because you broke the system and now you don't have a fix for it. Your pricing structure is broken because somebody moved in your lane and you are reluctant to change because your employee pricing is going up. What now? In 9 states, the minimum wage is raising. That's probably not the right way to say that. In 9 states, the minimum wage is going up. So now you're on the backside of another. Oh, yeah. Places like Flagstaff, you're about to see $13.50, close to $14 an hour as a minimum wage. And I could be wrong by $1 or whatever, but the money's moving up. There's no more. Where's the profitability change? It's not. And the business model's still broken. And by the way, if you can get somebody to work in Phoenix, Arizona at a McDonald's for $15 an hour, what are they, 6? Because everybody else is getting 16 to near 18. Otherwise, you don't have anybody in there. So unless you're illegally using children for labor, we've got a problem. The whole system is broken. Now, your answer, fast food, has been, oh, I know. When they come through the drive-through, we'll create these incredible combos that they can't pass up. So now when I go to the drive-through, I get a burger, fries, a drink of some sort. I'll end up getting some sort of dessert and a 6-pack of nuggets for $4.99. Now as a consumer, I'm like, woo, the price fell. Or am I the consumer going, what materials have you decided you're going to use now to get the price down? You're not telling me that I can get a hamburger, fries, a drink, a dessert, and chicken nuggets made of what? God only knows, for $5.99. Meanwhile, the employee that packed that in the bag made $20 for that hour. No, even economies of scale ain't going to work on this because your drive-thru and they'll never have anybody in them. They're not that busy anymore, so it ain't going to work. So I don't know what you're feeding people for those value menus and that extreme nonsense that we're doing. All I can tell you is, as a customer, when I'm on the other end of it, all I can think is something's wrong here. Evil is afoot. This can't be good. Quit blaming cigarettes. Why don't we look at what's in a nugget? Because I don't think any chicken's in there. I don't know what's in it. I ain't trying to say I do. I'm just saying what we don't have in there is chicken at that price. So fast food is backed in a corner. Now who's paying for it? Jack in the Box is the first ones that jumped up and said, whoa, uncle. They've dropped 70 this year, 70 stores, and they want to get to around 120 by the end of 2025. So if you are on your way to the drive-thru at Jack in the Box, hurry, because it may not be there when you get there. The lights may be off, open by mistake on the sign. It could be bad. Now, the newer locations, though, I can't even hate on Jack in the Box. The newer locations are really nice. In Nashville, it was nice to go through the drive-thru. And you know what's fun about Jack in the Box? This is me facetiously saying this. You can go into Jack in the Box and get every type of food known to man, basically. Hamburgers, egg rolls, fish, tacos, big tacos. You can get anything and everything. You don't think that's a business model problem, Jack? You don't see where there might be an error in judgment there? Maybe you should be known for something, not just a Jack in a Box. Maybe you should have some kind of something that people know you for. You have a burger on the menu, I get it. I don't know much about it. I just don't. I don't know anything about you except for you do ridiculously weird commercials with a weird head and you say things that end in cheap, which makes me wonder what you're doing in terms of quality. I used to like to zip through the drive-thru and get the egg rolls because I thought, you know what? As Asian restaurants go, Jack in the Box is right in my top 2 or 3. They always rank right up there next to Panda Express. So I go through the drive-thru and get the egg rolls. Now, if you do get the egg rolls, trust me when I tell you this. Do not open that box and try to take a bite out of Jack in the Box egg rolls. Do not, because the meat on the inside of your mouth will hang down for 2 to 3 years. All I know is Jack in the Box grease containers where they put the things in the fryers. Those things have been touched by Satan himself. I never seen nothing so hot. I used to have a deal with the cabbies in Nashville back when I drank. That's why I don't drink anymore. I go through the drive-thru, always on my way to the house. I'm not driving, so it's okay. I pay them extra. I could sit in the drive-thru line, get myself some egg rolls, and get home. Now I could drive all the way home, another 10 minutes, get in the house, take my clothes off, turn on the TV, get on the sports center. Then I could take a bite of that egg roll and I could survive it. Now, I'm still going to have third-degree burns in my mouth, but I could survive it some 30 minutes later. I can't hate on their product. But Lord, it was hot. But it was good. Again, that's why I stopped drinking. So Jack in the Box closed. They're hoping, but through 2026 to bounce another 150 to 200 locations. So if you're keeping score, they're going to dump 300 locations of Jack in the Box. That's a lot. So big time closure announcements are on the way. But to be honest, is this not a good time for the fast food industry? Is this not a good time for them to re-examine where they are? There's a lot of dilapidated buildings that restaurants expect me to walk in and think that their kitchen's clean. I can't do that. By the time the Taco Bell has been repurposed 6 or 7 times, it makes me nervous. If anything other than Mexican food's coming out of it, I'm probably not going to give that a shot. Filiberto's? Me and you are tight. Anybody else? I'm not doing it because I'm not going to get Chinese food out of what was a Taco Bell. My brain doesn't work that way. Also, the fish restaurants, the Captain D's. Listen, in the 80s, that was the best fish ever. Back when I was drinking, nothing cured a hangover faster than Captain D's fish and all them little cracklings in there. And you could dip it into tartar sauce and you could eat it. All that grease just took the hangover away. It was amazing. Do you realize those buildings probably haven't been swept since the 80s? I mean, every time I go in one now, I'm like, I should have went to the drive-thru. They're just old and dilapidated. Apparently, there's not enough money in cracklings. Who knew? So those buildings, this might be a time for us to whitewash the whole industry. Maybe we could put some soap on these buildings. Maybe we can knock them down. Maybe we can start considering, hey, these buildings need something. They're kind of biohazards, right? They're sort of nuclear dump sites. It's time to nuke them and start again. Maybe we can rebuild this. Maybe we rebuild them cheaper. Maybe people don't need to come sit in your lobby. That's what I argue about Chick-fil-A. What are we doing, Chick-fil-A? Stop. We don't need the lobby anymore. Nobody needs to slide down the slide. No, it's because I'm not a parent. Parents are like, shut up, man. There's no better place to put them than out there to play. The door shuts. I don't have to hear them for like 2 hours. It's great. I know I need to shut up. I'm just saying, couldn't we cut all of those Chick-fil-A parking lots down by making them double drive-thrus? I mean, the drive-thru time is too long anyway. They had double drive-thrus in South Carolina in the late 80s. It was brilliant. They took the corner of the mall parking lot. You could zip over there during lunch. There were cars going everywhere, but the mall parking lot had plenty of overflow, so it was amazing. This was in the late 80s, early 90s. It was unbelievable. All Chick-fil-A's should be double drive-thrus. Let's not kid ourselves. That's the only thing we're doing. We're getting the chicken, and we're leaving. And as far as parents, maybe do Chick-fil-A sponsored playgrounds. There's a good idea. It makes it work. So when you start looking at the financial reality of the fast food business, Jack in the Box managed to lose $80 million in the last year. That's a lot. So a financial reality check says things got to change over there. Their CEO is like, we need to simplify everything. Pay down debt, improve cash flow, close weak stores, stabilize unit economics, lean into tech upgrades, and restaurant reimagining. That's what I'm saying. Is exactly what I'm saying. Maybe you just need to become drive-thrus. And as far as your ideas on technology, get that out of your head. Everybody doesn't want to order on their phone first. Sometimes I like to just drive up and get a milkshake. I should not have to punch in a bunch of garbage when I don't want to do that. Then you've just ruined the spontaneity of the moment. I just want to look at my girls sometimes and go, honey, you know what we need? We need a Frosty. I shouldn't have to go find 48 apps to get my Frosty ordered, make sure I'm at the location closest to me, only to find out that, no, I didn't order at the Wendy's and Mesa. My bad, I ordered the one in Tulsa. That's a long drive, a long dang drive for a Frosty. You can bet by the time I get there, it's going to be runny. Come on now, let's get our junk in the sock. 2,200 locations of Jack in the Box still left. You know, they dumped Del Taco last year for $119 million to raise some cash. Here's the thing about Del Taco, though. At least I know what they do. I don't have to think about it. Jack in the Box, I don't know what you do. You do everything. So therefore, I don't think about you. When you do everything, you do nothing well. So nobody's thinking about you. Pick what you're good at, pick a lane, and stay in it. Del Taco, at least I know when I go there, I'm getting a below average taco. I'm okay with that. At least I know I'm getting it. That's why I don't go there. Wendy's has popped up, and they're saying the same thing. Hundreds of store closures in 2026. Listen, if I'm spending $20, I expect a chair, a plate, and someone who at least pretends that they care. Fast food used to be the backup plan. Now, it's an expensive mistake. Also making news at this hour, Kim Kardashian bought puppies and PETA reacted like she backed over one. What's wrong with you people? I don't understand the PETA people. I don't understand people's hate towards the Kardashians. If you think I'm going to sit here and bash Kim Kardashian, I am not going to do that. What has she ever done? Nothing. Just got rich being pretty. Okay, that's not hard to do when you're that pretty. Her mother has, how many kids has Kris Jenner had? Every one of those people, except for Rob, who's a question mark. The rest of them, they're stunningly beautiful. It doesn't matter if Robert's the daddy, if the track star turned woman's the daddy, Bruce Jenner, I couldn't come up with that, or if OJ's the father. We don't know, but they all are beautiful women. Why do we have so much hate? Now, we'll hate on them, but we'll quietly go buy some Skims, won't we, to get all this tucked in back where it belongs. But we still hate them. Don't hate on the Kardashians. I'm still keeping up with them. Life's good with the Kardashians. Shoot. Even Rob said he's coming out of retirement in 2026. And who doesn't want to see Rob Kardashian? Yeah. So, on to this story. 4 kids, North St. Chicago and Psalm? I think it's it. 4 kids, 4 puppies. Each get their own Pomeranian. How cute. What a great Christmas gift. She puts it on her story. Man, the hate shows up. People are like, cute. The rest of the world's like, how dare you? How dare you get them kids puppies for Christmas? What is wrong with you? Back it down. She's Kim damn Kardashian. She's worth $1.7 billion. She can afford to buy puppies if she wants to. Well, people need to know that you got to take care of puppies for a long time. They're not just a Christmas gift. Calm down. She's got $1.7 billion and an entire group of servants that can pet that dog and do whatever all 4 of those puppies need. They're Pomeranians. They don't need much of nothing. All 4 of them, there's people around to take care of it. You ain't doing all that screaming when it's happening in South Carolina and Georgia, are you? Nope. And when they get tired of messing with them, they just open the fence and they disappear. Kardashians, if they get tired of messing with those puppies, guess what's going to happen? They're going to rehouse them probably somewhere nicer than where you're living right this minute. That's fact. So back it down just a little bit on what they choose to do with their money and what they choose to do with their pets, as long as they acquire them in the proper way. Now, PETA is not having it. They jumped on Kim and criticized her for buying puppies instead of adopting them. She's worth $1.7 billion. She didn't do anything illegal. Why do you get a say in it? You should be proud that she is saying, hey, I want my daughters to enjoy and know what it's like to raise a puppy to adulthood, the meaning of life, the companionship that these dogs will bring for them, and how much joy and wonder they bring to our lives. That's promotion for puppies. That's a win. But nope, you want to suck the life out of it. Here's what the PETA founder, Ingrid Newkirk, said, quote, puppies are not plushies. And then she went on to call it a damn shame. What's a damn shame? That a rich lady decided to buy 4 puppies for her children because her children wanted them? That's the shame? I'm missing something. The puppies are going to be fed. They're not going hungry. They're going to be loved. They're going to be taken care of. What's the shame part? She also jumped on Chloe because she gifted her kids a black lab. Again, listen, if you're mad about how someone else got a dog, you need a hobby. PETA saw kids getting puppies and said, this joy feels unauthorized. PETA suggested that the Kardashians should next time visit a local shelter. Why? You don't get to tell her how to spend her $1.7 billion. She made it. She didn't illegally acquire those puppies. She bought them. And what is your major malfunction with her legally purchasing pets? Shelters are full of them. It's not her fault. In fact, PETA, Bob Barker, and Drew Carey have done more for dogs than you ever will. He also goes on to say that her kids should volunteer. What does that have to do with anything? Her kids can volunteer if they want to, and that's not your business. In fact, won't you tell parents that to their face, that their kids don't volunteer enough? Why don't you explain to parents how to raise their children and see what kind of reception you get? You get this kind of reception, that they should fund an adoption event. Honey, the Kardashians give more annually to charity than you'll ever be worth, period. Kim Kardashian has not responded, and she should not. Let people love their dogs the way they want to. Activism shouldn't be a pop-up ad. If your movement needs to ruin Christmas to feel relevant, the puppies aren't the problem. Thanks again for spending time with us today. Have a great day.